Right. So on our agenda for today is we do have like the tip of the week, some sales shout outs, although that'll be a little different today since the sales data didn't come in like it usually does. And then today's topic is setting goals. So for our tip of the week, uh, today's tip is for those that are new, and you could even be, you know, have been at it for a while. And what we're just looking at is maybe finding a mentor. It's really great if you can find somebody who's a bit senior to you. I don't mean by age, I mean in doing the business. And what you can do is kind of team up with them and bounce ideas off of them, maybe benefit from their experience a little bit, where they could provide some successful tips that they've had. And you can kind of, bounce ideas off of them if you are trying to do different things, maybe you want to change up your sales routine or the message that you give, or just how you ask for the sale. Uh, so if you could just find a trusted mentor, that could be something that could really be of benefit to you. All right, so we didn't get the weekly sales stats that talks about what sold in the last week and who was doing it and where all the business was. So what I really did was took an opportunity to kind of review what was done all of 2023. And so this was kind of the breakdown. We're looking at, major med, which is still by far the largest product sold. And sold over 38,000 major medical policies. And out of those, you can see that don't try to add the numbers up because I just eliminated a lot of plans where there just weren't that many sold, okay, and in all the different categories. But you can see that out of that 38,000, um, gosh, more than, or I guess that's about half was United Healthcare. Maybe another quarter or a third there was AM Better. And then we dropped down to Oscar. And then for the numbers that don't just add up to that 38,000 is everything from Aetna, Cigna, Molina, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Oscar, priority. I mean, these are just, there just weren't big numbers of those sold. So and then we step down to short term. So you can see that our major business is still selling major medical. But there's some few things in here that I find a little bit disturbing that I'll pass on. And we'll kind of address that a bit. So the next big thing we sell is short-term medical. So just about 8,000 policies there, of which 2/3 were, the Allstate product. Okay, followed by, excuse me, not 2/3, but about half, right, was Allstate, and the other half is United Healthcare One. Okay, so you can see how that divides up. And then when it came to limited medical, again, 1,100 policies sold with not quite half being Allstate, but the majority was actually Blue Cross Blue Shield. Okay, found that pretty interesting. And then we see the accident plans. Again, almost 4,000 of them sold, with 3/4 being Allstate. And then the rest kind of breaking down between Value Series and United Healthcare One. With critical illness, the leader there was, out of the almost 600 policies, we did sell kind of 50-50, I guess Allstate being a little bit on the heavier side, 273, and 213 United Health One. Okay. Of the dental plans, almost 5,000 of those, with 4,200 of them being the Allstate product, and almost 500 of them being the United Healthcare product. But the disturbing trend that I see in here is, well, we're doing the right thing by putting people into those major medical policies. I would like to think that those are mostly subsidized plans, but we're not filling in the gaps there. We're not, adding in the accident and critical illness with those. So I think that's something if you're, in your business, if you're not pairing those up, I mean, the ideal package would be a major medical or a short-term plan, then using that accident and critical illness to fill in the blanks. Okay, I can just tell from these numbers here that we're not cross-selling. Okay, we need to get that done in there, and it's going to benefit the customer and it's going to benefit you, the insurance agent. Okay. But it does mean we're doing the right thing by putting the persons into the correct plans, right? So I would like to think that most of those major medicals are the subsidized plans, and where appropriate, we're using the short-term and limited medical to fill in. All right, so let's look at today's topic here, which is goal setting, managing that business. So, I mean, there are books written on this topic, and I'm only going to give you, a little 10-minute blurb on goal setting. But this is that, we're in January, we're at the beginning of the year. You should be looking at what you did last year. I mean, we still got some open enrollment left to, with the ACA there to get some, more people enrolled there. So if you're not hitting your goal for last year, you've still got some time. I would consider the open enrollment that's in progress is still part of last year. Okay, now the bullets on this slide kind of sum up what you would find in just about any book that talks about goal setting. The goal needs to be specific. It needs to be excuse me, a method to measure your progress and see how you're doing on there. It's got to be realistic, okay? And when it comes to being realistic, you need to be able to see how you're getting there, that it's it. You need to be able to set priorities, so that you can measure, how you get there. You got to track it. You got to use those measurements and your priorities to see how you're going towards the goal. Then you need to assess the goal. Did I make my goal too simple? Did I make my goal, too difficult? Another way that I've seen that, is, reassessing that and then, setting new goals in there. A popular acronym for all of this is SMART, meaning specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay, just these same goal setting pieces here, just with a little bit different name to it. Okay. So when it comes to this, like I said, it's got to be reasonable. And here's where we need to be careful. We don't want to just write down what we dream, the business would be, but you need to actually lay out some sort of a goal. And in there, you need short-term goals. That would be like, a monthly. You would go down to daily personally, but you can have daily, weekly, and monthly goals, annual goals, and then something overall, overreaching it all that kind of ties it all together. And you really need to understand that difference between a goal and a dream. A dream is usually without definition of the end picture, okay? Like having a successful insurance business without defining exactly what that is. So here I kind of, break that down. Dreams, typically more grand, no structure, not typically realistic, typically vague. I mean, what does having a successful insurance business mean? It's going to mean something different to different people. Whereas if I have a goal, some short-term goals, weekly goals, even daily goals that I can measure and see how I get there. So my big goal could be to build and maintain an insurance business with a book of business containing about 1,000 customers. So, I mean, that would be a very realistic goal. I doubt if you're going to achieve it in 1 year. I mean, you're going to have to be building on it and working towards that. And I can kind of give you some more examples here as we go along. For those who who know me and have seen part of mine, here's one of the goals that I had when I was working in the call center. Okay, and my real goal was one, to keep the sales manager off my back. Okay? And because of the way I was compensated, this is what I wanted. Okay? And so you just start working with the numbers, and I would actually build it backwards. Okay? If it's decided, how much money you want to make and figure out, what does it take on a daily basis to get there. My goal was to do 2 applications per day, and I was doing Medicare. Okay? So I wanted to get 2 applications in each day. So if I did that, that meant I would get 10 a week and 40 a month, depending on the month, right? Typically, you're looking at 4 weeks in a month. During OEP, I wanted to do 200 applications, and during the rest of the year, 360 applications. And that's just doing the math based on building this business. So that means I wanted to plan on submitting about 560 applications in a year. So that was my overall goal. You can obviously see I'm going to take 2 years to get there, right? I want 1,000. Because of the way I was compensated was, I think, I got $2 for every application that stayed on the books in my book of business per month. So that would give me a base salary right off the bat of 2,000 plus whatever I did on there. So I could, comfortably go on vacation when I wasn't selling, knowing that I would still have some money coming in. So that was an example of how I set mine up. Okay. Then I went to, being an independent agent where I wasn't working in the call center anymore. So this became my business goal. Okay. I wanted, again, I'm striving for that, $1,000 customer base in Medicare. That's going to be about $25,000 a month, okay, if I achieve my goal anyway, because the national average, is $206 per account. So on my residuals, I'm going to get $25.50 per month for each account. I want to do another, 200 applications. So there's based on that, I should make about $5,000 a month. And so I just basically, lay that out. I do know that I can make additional money with things like, hospital indemnity plans, vision, dental, if it's not included in the Medicare Advantage plan. And I know that they're not going to be in a Medicare supplement plan. So that's how, different ways to set this out, kind of depending upon how you're compensated and how you're paid, so that you can find what works for you in setting up, your plan. I just want you to be sure that you have a plan and you have some goals. And so, again, these are some ideas over how to lay that out. Just kind of work backwards. What is it that you want to take home, every month, and then or every week, however you're getting paid, and then do the math, work it out backwards and see what it is that you have to do in order to achieve that. Okay. So our quote for today, Andrew Carnegie. Okay, remember, the founder of well, what is now U.S. Steel. If you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hope. All right. So I hope I gave you some ideas for today, and do sit down and do that plan. Make sure that you can reach the goals that you have. If you have any questions, you can contact me at training@ahpcsales.com, or if you just have any general questions, you can call for us into the office at 877-228-8773. I hope everybody has a great day and good selling.